Hello there, I am Nathanael, also known as manemanera, and welcome to my very first Q&A video! Yay! I posted a post on Facebook asking, does anyone have a question for me about being a puppeteer or any questions for my puppets, and I got some questions, so I'm gonna answer them right now. So without further ado, let's get started. Sharon asks, is it hard doing all those voices? I'm gonna start this off with something that'll sound random, but just go with it. I drink skim milk every single day, like every morning for breakfast, sometimes for lunch and dinner, love it. But it can really add some mucus to your throat, making your voice sound a little gravelly. So what I do is I usually plan in advance on, like I'm gonna film this day, so I know that I can't drink any milk that day, so I'll just drink water the whole day so my voice sounds as clear as it can be. Now straight on to the question, yes and no. There are a lot of characters of mine that are easy to perform because they each have their own distinct voices, and it's easy for me to just go straight to that voice when I'm performing them, like Dr. Moody.
Let us serve them, yes.
Harold.
I really appreciate it.
Wayne Miller.
Well, how Dilly? He said something about going and making breakfast.
George.
I don't know where the zipper is, sir.
And Cletus.
And risk tipping one of my claws? No way.
They all have their distinct voice, so it's easy for me to do that. Now there are also a few characters of mine whose voices slightly change between videos. Normally, a professional puppeteer will work with a character, perfecting the voice for maybe a few days, weeks, months, even years before they are actually camera ready to perform. I'm just gonna say this right now, I am not a professional by any means. A good example of a puppet whose voice slightly changes between videos is Fabio. His voice is slightly higher pitched than mine, and there's really no easy way to find that specific pitch every single time for me, because
sometimes he'll sound like this. Him and Mackie have the exact same voice, but it's hard for me to really figure out which pitch is his right voice for majority of the time.
Man, what a way to start the morning.
Ah, gotcha.
Of course, it was my pleasure. I'll make a space for you on the shelves.
Then there are a few puppets whose voices do tend to hurt my throat if I perform them over long periods of time. Two examples of those are Purple Bunny and Clyde. Purple Bunny specifically because her voice is so high pitched and my voice is like normally deep, so I have to strain a little bit to get her voice.
Oh, come on, Altair. You can stop hiding your feelings from me.
Clyde specifically because he sounds like he smokes a cigarette every day. He doesn't. I don't influence people to smoke. It's disgusting to me, but that's just how his character is, and that's the voice I gave him.
The name's Clyde. Ring any bells?
And finally, there are the three characters that I can think of whose voices are altered. Those three characters are Minnie Moody, Sasha, and Altair. Minnie Moody is basically just Dr. Moody's voice, pitched higher.
I have no idea if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, but it's slipping and smoke is coming out.
Sasha's voice is basically Purple Bunny's voice, pitched higher, only a lot smoother and without the like
Weird sort of. Hey, I'm Purple Bunny. Sasha is a bit more higher pitch. He's more smooth. Not as deep.
Good morning, sleepy monster.
Then Altair, who's deeper pitched and has an echo effect onto it. Now, when I record Altair's voice, I have to talk like this and really enunciate every single word so that when I pitch it lower and add an echo effect to it, it sounds something like this.
If I talk like this, it makes it easier to understand what he is saying, and that's important because I've been told a lot of times that his voice is hard to understand, so I'll add subtitles at the bottom of the screen for people who can't understand Altair's voice.
Shirley asks, do you aspire to be a professional puppeteer? Yes, someday I hope to be able to maybe work on Sesame Street or something like that. That would be a dream job of mine, but I'm fine with doing what I am doing right now. Brenda asks, who is your favorite puppet and why? I'm gonna answer this two different ways. My favorite puppet to perform is Dr. Moody, and my favorite puppet in general is Akron, because he's basically an extension of me. He's just Nathanael in puppet form. Kayla asks, at what point in gathering your collection did you decide they would be a worthwhile investment for your future? Well, my very first puppets that I owned was Fabio and Otto, but I didn't really do anything with them at the time. In 2007, my buddy David got me started on YouTube, and my mom just brought home this weird frog puppet plant thing called Audrey 4, named him after Audrey Drew from Little Shop of Horrors. And after that, I just started collecting more and more puppets, just making YouTube videos with them called Puppet Sightings. I had always been fascinated with puppets from watching Sesame Street and stuff like that, but I don't know. I've always liked performing puppets. Before I got into puppets, I wanted to become a Lego engineer, but you have to be good at math to do that, and I'm not good at math. So, I don't know. I just like using puppets because I'm able to create stuff that I would like to see myself, so I can go and make that with my own characters. I honestly don't know. Probably like maybe around 2011, I want to say, because at that point I had gotten into writing a script for my first feature-length film for YouTube called Puppet Sightings: The Return Of. So I'd probably say around then. David, also known as Mr. Cox,
well, sir, my testosterone levels are very high.
Also known as the guy who composed the music for Puppet Sightings: The Return Of, also known as the leading role in my upcoming second film, Puppet Sightings 2.
Why did it have to be me?
Asks, the American-Canadian War has begun. Canada is about to nuke Western New York to eradicate our side of the fall so that only the Canadian side matters anymore. You take shelter in an underground bunker with Audrey 4, Dr. Moody, Squonky, and Dave, the monkey. You know you must spend the rest of your lives in there. You have 14 cans of Pringles, 2 heads of lettuce, 1 with sunglasses and a knife, some rope, an HD DVD player, and only a copy of Bridget Jones' Diary, a gun, a deck of cards missing the 5 of diamonds card, more rope, and a golf club, 3 wood. How do you plan to use your resources wisely to spend the next year? If you need to kill someone and use their muscles for food, who dies first? Well, I'm just gonna go straight off the bat. My puppets may have been brought to life by the magical stone, but they don't have any organs, so I'd probably be the first one to die. I don't like eating lettuce, so that'd be off the bat. You didn't specifically say what kind of gun it is, or if there's any ammo for it, so I don't know what I would do with that. I would probably eat the Pringles, because I like Pringles. I have no idea what Bridget Jones' Diary is. The puppets would probably just play cards, because they do that all the time. That would pass the time for them. I honestly don't know how to answer this question, or how you came up with this question in general. David also asks, when Squonky farts, does it sound like his voice squeak or an actual fart? Squonky doesn't fart because he's a puppet and he was brought to life by the stone, but he doesn't have any internal organs or anything. So, no, his farts don't sound like squeaks because he doesn't fart. Also, the only reason his voice is how it is because he swallowed a squeaky toy. Brittany says, I'm actually interested in learning about puppetry, but I really don't know much about it, though I've looked through a few tutorials on YouTube about making them. I haven't done much yet. I personally don't know how to make puppets, and again, I'm not a professional puppeteer by any means, but I have learned some things over the years when performing my puppets, which I'll share now. The majority of my puppets I rescue from thrift stores, and if I find a puppet unique enough, I may turn it into a character. When I get a new puppet, what I do is I look at it, I figure out what its name is, what its personality is going to be like, and then I have to try and figure out a voice for it and what it'll say. For example, this is Terry the Triceratops, and something he would say is, "I am the king of Triceratopia, and I crave oatmeal. Bring me more oatmeal." I have a large collection of puppets, somewhere around 153, I believe. And each one is unique in how it's performed and operated. Like Audrey 4, for example. The way he is, I can either put my hand in his tongue to move that around, or his 2 eye stalks to move them around. To make him talk, what I do is I put my fingers up in his eye stalks, and I just basically flap it up and down, making his mouth open up wide, so when he talks, he has to talk really loud. Ah. Another important thing when operating a puppet is its movement. When you operate a fairly normal puppet like Dr. Moody, you only want to move the bottom jaw, because you don't move the top of your head when you talk. And along with the mouth, you will want to move the body. You don't just sit straight up like this when you talk. No, you move around a little bit, like you want to be loose, relaxed. Sometimes you'll talk with your hands. Another important thing I just remembered when it comes to performing puppets is, for me, there are 2 different forms of puppeteering. There is performing in front of a camera, and then there's performing in front of a live audience. When performing in front of a camera, the performer itself is out of view of the camera, out of shot, and all you see is the puppet. This is different when performing in front of a live audience. Sometimes people will have those puppet stages that hides the performers, but I am always in full view of my audience if I'm outside with my puppets. And I'm going to demonstrate what I do with Akron and another puppet right now. Now, when I'm performing Akron out in public, what I do is I attach his ankles to my knees with a pair of ripped stockings. This gives the illusion of him walking when I walk. And it's also nice because if I come in contact with a toddler or little kid that wants to talk with Akron, I can get on my knees and Akron will stand at eye level with the kid so that he can talk to them. Another important thing about performing a puppet in public is creating the illusion of life. Like if I'm having a conversation with someone and Akron's not part of the conversation, I'll just have him look around a little bit, just blink his eyes, maybe look up at the person that I'm talking to. He can just adjust his hair, maybe adjust his tie. Just little things like that really sell the illusion of the puppet being alive. Now, if I have Akron having a conversation with someone, it's really important that I make sure that he keeps eye contact with the person he's talking to. This is important for larger puppets like him, for example. He has really big eyes, and you don't want him just looking up at the ceiling when he's talking to someone. You want him to make sure that he's looking at the person that he's talking to. That's pretty much it on how I perform Akron in public, so we're going to move on to another puppet. Now, this is Buho. He is a great horned owl from Folkmanis Puppets. They build very realistic animal puppets. Other examples of their puppets I own are Aurora the Ostrich, Mackie the Pack Rat. Now, just operating him like this is how I would operate him in front of a camera. Like, from here down, I would be underneath him like this, and you wouldn't see me at all. But when I'm out in public, I do this. This really sells the illusion of this being a real-life animal, especially from a distance, because, I mean, you can see my hand behind it, but from a distance, it looks like a real living owl sitting on my glove. It has a trigger in him that I'm using to blink his eyes. That might be hard to see, but when I blink his eyes, it also looks like he's breathing, which also sells the illusion of it being alive. Creating the illusion of life is probably the main important thing that you want to do in front of a live audience when performing a puppet. So that's all the questions I have. If anyone has any more questions for me or for any of my puppets, leave a question down below in the comments, and please, no vulgar or inappropriate questions. They will be ignored. Other than that, thank you for watching. Check out some of my other puppet videos, and yeah, have a good day. don't really know how to end this.